Not that long ago, there was a time where we were watching Summer League and we all thought that Trae Young was going to be a massive bust, and Kevin Knox looked like a Summer League star. I could probably go on for 20 minutes about different players that we thought were going to be really great or really bad based off of a few Summer League performances. Okay, I can't help myself. For example, Randy Foye, Marcus Williams, Anthony Morrow, Jared Bayless, Josh Selby, Glenn Rice Jr., Jeremy Lamb, Alonzo G, Luke Jackson, JJ Hickson, Jordan McRae. You might have heard of some of these guys in 2K, but all of them were really good Summer League players, and it ultimately didn't really matter that much. We're going to talk about this year's class in Summer League and talk about why you should or shouldn't be concerned about their performances so far. Really quickly though, I want to thank the sponsor of today's video, NordVPN. Internet security is hugely important to me because my entire livelihood relies on being online and creating content online, and so having a high quality VPN at my disposal is essential. And NordVPN gives you the peace of mind that you need online by encrypting your connection to prevent your data from being stolen. And if you've never used one before and maybe you're feeling a little bit intimidated by using a VPN, don't worry. It's easy to use, it's available on all major platforms, and is the fastest VPN out there on over 5,500 servers across 58 countries around the world. And not only that, but they've introduced their threat protection upgrade as well, which blocks intrusive ads, web trackers, and scans downloaded files for malware for an extra layer of internet security. And right now you can click the link in the description, nordvpn.com/sportinglogically, to get a discounted 2-year plan plus an additional month free with Nord's 30-day money-back guarantee, risk-free. Again, that link is available for you in the description, and thank you again to NordVPN for sponsoring this video. And just like has pretty much always been the case for this class, the real focus here is on the top 3 guys, Paolo Banchero, Chet Holmgren, and Jabari Smith. And we're gonna begin with the surprise first overall pick in the draft, Paolo Banchero. So I think it's really important to point out the difference between these 3 players in terms of their games and how they translate to Summer League. And for Paolo, more so than the other 2 guys, his game is built for the Summer League environment. He is going to be allowed to create individually on his own more in Summer League than he ever was at Duke, and really going back maybe even to his high school days, because he's the best player on the floor for Orlando, potentially the best player there in Summer League. It's not necessarily going to be his NBA role to create everything on a Magic team that is increasingly pretty good on the perimeter, but at Summer League, sometimes you just need a guy that can create. You need a guy that can get a bucket for you. You need someone that can initiate the entirety of the offense and create easy shots for other guys, and that right now is Paolo's most translatable NBA skill set, and he is being allowed to do that at the maximum level in Summer League. Now, it's not like he's the James Harden of Summer League with a 40% usage rate or anything, but in comparison to Chet and Jabari, who we'll talk about later, it's not really surprising that he has looked really good through the first couple of games of his Summer League career, if you want to put it that way, because this is what this guy does. He doesn't need anybody else to create for him. He needs a little bit of space, and that's about it. And there's 2 different ways to think about that. On the one hand, it's awesome that he looks as good as he does, and that he clearly is someone that belongs in the NBA from a physical standpoint, mindset-wise. Like, he looks poised. He never seems to be in a hurry. I love what I've seen out of Paolo, but also you have to kind of hold yourself back a little bit from getting too excited in comparison to some of the performances from Chet and Jabari, which at times have been uneven, because again, this is what this guy does. This is not a situation where he's asked to be playing outside of his comfort zone and create too much. This is something he is very comfortable doing, and he might have more of an issue at the NBA level for the actual Orlando Magic fitting in than someone like Chet or Jabari, given his skill set. But what I do think this has shown for Paolo, again, it's just Summer League, don't overreact. It feels like the right order in terms of who could be the franchise like #1 guy. This draft feels like it has fallen in the correct way. Just evaluating the first couple games, which I understand the Summer League caveat, we're going to continue to mention it throughout the video, but if you're looking at who can be the #1 guy on a really good team, a guy that can create everything for you offensively, Paolo ranks #1 in this class in that category, in my opinion, and I think we've really seen that a lot in Summer League. Next up, we got to talk about Chet Holmgren. So I said for a couple of different videos that I would have taken Chet first. I feel pretty vindicated in that through some of his performances, despite how good Paolo has looked and how comfortable he's looked. But here's the thing about Chet. We went through a college season with him where he was the 4th, sometimes the 5th option on his own college team. And you can see that he clearly has a lot of offensive talent and a lot of offensive potential. And so to see him kind of unleashed a little bit more in Summer League has been exciting. And it's been really cool to see him kind of go back to the player that he was at times in high school, having more freedom, having more space to operate. And we're also seeing the defensive upside from Chet, the fact that he's able to protect the rim as well as he is, and defensively has really good instincts. And then we're seeing the negative stuff of Chet, where if you have any kind of strength advantage on him at all, you can definitely bully him at times and get to the rim. And even though he has great length, you can just shove him out of the way and finish. He's had difficulties at times with rebounding the ball, and I think dealing with the physicality of even NBA Summer League players, which obviously is a concern. I have a couple of things though on Chet. One, he's playing with the best supporting cast in Summer League. I mean, he's got Giddey, Wiggins is good. I don't really feel like I need to talk about Poku. I feel like he's on his way out of the league, but like they have basically half the guys that played real minutes for them last year on this Summer League roster, including Josh Giddey. And so he has it easier than pretty much anybody else right now of the top three guys. And so it's allowed him to look like a complimentary option at times, like he did in his first Summer League game in Utah, where he was knocking down threes and he was really given a lot of easy shots. He didn't have to create a ton, but even when he did, he looked good when he was creating. But then also when Giddey goes to the bench or if they just allow him to create a little bit more, he's allowed to be a little bit more of an on-ball guy as well. And my opinion on Chet, I feel like, again, couple of Summer League games, I feel pretty good about, where I was before the draft and now, where you see the offensive potential. You see that, yeah, he's going to get pushed around at times, but it's not like he's, just woke up this morning and was 180 pounds. Like he's been skinny all his life. It's something he's dealt with the whole time. He's going to figure it out, I think. And you've seen really what he can look like outside of that Gonzaga system. And I'm really intrigued. I think he's looked fantastic. He's not going to score 20 and 10 and get 4 blocks every game. It's just not the way it's going to be. And the only other thing that I would say for him is at times his offensive game has gotten a little bit predictable, where it's like, I'm either going to shoot, I'm going to dribble once to the right and spin back and get it stolen. And obviously the strength is an issue, but I really like the way that he fits with this OKC roster because he can just fit everywhere. He can be a complementary offensive piece. You can prioritize him a little bit more offensively. I think he's going to be really, really good. And again, him and Paolo have kind of confirmed what I thought about them pre-draft. And then last up now is really the guy that I wanted to talk about most in this video, and it's Jabari Smith, because I think there is, especially through his first handful of Summer League games, a lot of negative stuff going around about Jabari right now. And some of it I'm legitimately concerned about, and others I'm not at all. So how I was talking about with Paolo, how if there was a player in this top 3 that fit perfectly into his role in Summer League, it was Paolo. Jabari is on the complete other end of that spectrum. The issue with Jabari's game, the reason that he wasn't a lock to be the first pick, despite being a great shooter and despite the defensive versatility, was he's not an offensive creator. He's not a playmaker. He's not someone that creates his own shot very well outside of one dribble, and he's a very perimeter-oriented guy. And when you go into the environment of Summer League, where you're in this case the 3rd pick in the draft and everybody's expecting big things from you, sometimes you feel that pressure to create and to score 20 points a game, and that's just not, even in Summer League, where Jabari's game is at right now. There's still the opportunity for him to grow and figure that part of his game out, of course, and I think ultimately he'll get there in certain ways. I don't have as high of a ceiling on that as some people did, some people that thought he should have been the first pick in the draft, but his game is just not there right now. But when you put him into an NBA setting, him and Jalen Green, him and some of the other creators that they have on that Houston roster, his shots are going to get a lot easier, and he's going to look much, much better as a complementary guy that's going to shoot the ball extremely well from 3, can create a little bit on his own, and extremely good defensive versatility. And that skill set just isn't highlighted as much in a Summer League environment where spacing is a little bit more cramped, the guards aren't as good, and everybody is playing out of their mind in terms of effort because they're trying to make it in the NBA. That is just going to be the complete opposite end of the spectrum for Jabari once he gets into actual NBA games, and I think he's going to look so much better in that environment where you're not asking him to create out of the mid post and he's not going into these really tough pull-up jumpers. I'm not concerned about the skill set that he brings to the table at all, and honestly, the fact that he struggled as an individual creator really confirms what I thought about him pre-draft, and I'm not concerned about it whatsoever. Here would be the only caveat to that for me. There was a lot of stuff pre-draft about how Jabari was very confident he was going to be the first pick in the draft, and when you go from thinking you're going to be the first pick to everybody being surprised on draft night that he didn't go first, then you go 3rd. You were mentally preparing to go to the Magic. Now you're on the Rockets. Now you're just thrust into Summer League. You're not shooting the ball particularly well. I would be at least slightly worried about his confidence just because we've seen it before. Like we've seen guys just get off to a bad start in their career. There's too many things going on and they just never really turn it around and figure it out. I'm not saying that's what's going to happen with Jabari, but if there was a thing to be concerned about with him, I don't think it's the shot making. I don't think it's the way that he's looked in Summer League. I think it would be the confidence, but only just slightly. But overall, I think the point stands. Don't overreact to Summer League. Take some things away from it. See if a guy looks comfortable. See if you think that they fit physically. I think all three of these guys do. Chet with his length, the other two with their size, strength, and quickness. And just take little snippets and be like, I like what I see there. I think that translates. I think that works. But if a guy's dropping 30 or a guy's only scoring 5 points, I wouldn't be too concerned about that. Again, going back to the Trae Young and Kevin Knox example from the intro. I know there are other guys in this class. We'll talk about them throughout the season, but I feel like these are certainly the three most interesting players in the class and to talk about through Summer League so far. And I'm really curious to see what you guys have to say down in the comment section below in terms of your opinions on how they each have looked in Summer League so far.